Herpes is actually quite normal. It's one of the oldest viruses around. It's been doing its thing since before modern humans even existed. They think that the first ancient human was infected up to 3 million years ago. Scientists think it was around even longer, before we split from chimps 6 million years ago and it just started to follow us and develop new strains. So given it's been around for ages, it's really interesting to look at how every generation stigmatizes herpes differently depending on what's going on in society at the time. In our current time, herpes is still largely misunderstood and only really judged when it's genital. I mean, we don't even call the oral kind herpes. And when you think about why genital herpes is scrutinized, it's only really because of the location and how we think it was acquired. Both HSV 1 and 2 can be acquired sexually and non-sexually, and both show up orally or genitally. Herpes also kind of meets the definition of normal because the majority of the human population has it. 2 in 3 people have HSV 1 and 1 in 5 people have HSV 2. That's really common. Now, the majority of people with herpes will never know that they have it because up to 90% have no symptoms and it's not in routine screenings. Normalizing any STIs or something like herpes isn't about telling people to go out and get them. Normalizing STIs and sexual health in general is about making the conversations around them easier. The biggest thing that people with herpes suffer with has nothing to do with the virus's effect on the body, but with the stigma. One of the reasons they typically won't screen you for herpes without symptoms is because of the anxiety it can cause. Also because the current blood tests are not that reliable, most of us already have it, and it doesn't harm our health. Normalizing only leads to more resources, more transparency and honesty around the conversation, more disclosures. Being a sexually active person, period, means you're going to be exposed to STIs. Being a human means you're going to be exposed to herpes. And instead of assuming it's rare, it's actually better to assume that you probably have it and don't know, or your partners have it and don't know. So while most of us didn't run out and want to get herpes, it is interesting to look at what you consider abnormal and why, because it often just comes down to education. And the more you educate yourself around herpes, the more you realize that it is really common and it is normal.